We're going live. We are live. We are live. We are live. I am live. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Unscripted Thursdays. You should see me pop up there in a second.
Popped up.
Did you find me? All right. Then it says I can add a guest. Not sure how to add a guest.
I am live on Facebook. So I gotta click a link.
Yes, click the link.
Okay.
And I'm trying to add a guest. I don't see you yet. Here we go. I'm running. Give me a second, you guys. I'm just trying to figure out how to get the wife on here. It says you're viewing. Make a comment. You need to turn it this way. Either that or slide. There you go.
I got this, boo. I got this.
Okay. I'm going to try and add you into the live. There you are. What?
What? Did you put that on there?
Okay, there you are. So how do I add you in?
Actually.
Two people. So anyway, you might end up scooting your chair over here next to me.
All right.
To be able to do this. Because, yeah, we might just have to do it that way. And I'm going to rotate the camera just a smidge like this. So welcome. Unscripted.
We're looking.
With the cameras right there.
Okay, in the middle.
Yeah, Unscripted with the wife. So we're just going to talk about some relationship stuff. We haven't done this in a while. We haven't talked about relationships in a while. It says what wives want, sort of like what women want. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to be unscripted. So just welcome, everybody. My name is Forrest. This is my awesome wife, Devon. We are out in St. Louis. Thanks for swinging by. Thanks for checking us out. We're streaming all over the country here. All over the world, parts unknown. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I don't know why you got us.
Because I wanted to see.
Okay. So that's cool. But you'll end up talking to that camera over there and I come here, but you'll be okay. You'll be fine. So anyway, welcome. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. My awesome wife, Devon. If this is the first time catching us live, tell us what part of the country you're chiming in from. Got a new streaming software we're using here. So I'm on 2 Facebook pages, Periscope, and YouTube, all at the same time. This is pretty cool. And we got to figure out how to get more engagement on YouTube. I don't know how that's going to work, but I will make that happen here shortly. And then it says I can add people down here, but I'm not sure how to bring other people on the broadcast. I'm not sure if you have to have the software or not, or exactly how that works, but we will figure it out. I'm going to do some training. But in the meantime, since you're right here, we will do this. So since this is unscripted, I'm just going to ask you something, which is kind of scary. So first of all, just like I always say, just tell your story. Just sort of give a background, tell people, a little bit about your family, where you're from, some things like that. And then we'll just go into some questions about wifey stuff, and we'll sort of see how it goes. It always ends up really good. So where are you from? Where'd you grow up? You have, brothers and sisters, family, things like that. Just tell everybody about yourself.
Again, my name is Devon. I am the oldest of 4 children. Both my parents are still alive. I'm trying to think of what else I could say about my family. We're fun. We're a fun family. I love my brothers and sisters to pieces. We're from St. Louis, Missouri. I was born and I was raised here, and I probably will die here. I probably will never leave St. Louis. I have, 4 stepchildren. I have a son. I have just one son without my husband. And my baby's about to graduate pharmacy school here in May. I'm excited about that. We have a dog, Uno. How old is he? He'll be 10 years old in June. He'll be 10 years old. 10 years old in June. I own a boutique. I work a full-time job. I love my job. I love my 9 to 5 as well, and I have an amazing husband, and that's my life. That's my story.
Wow.
And I'm sticking to it.
So in between, so tell me, we were talking about this earlier today, so we got to bring this up. What is one of your favorite memories about your brother Leon?
When we were, I think I was in 5th or 6th grade. Yeah, I think I was in 5th or 6th grade. And my brother Leon is the youngest of 4. And when he was born with these we all had like small eyes, but he had like really small, tight eyes. And my friends would come over to the house and I would wrap him up real good. And the only thing they really could see was like his nose and his eyes. And I would tell everybody he was a Chinese baby, that my mother had a Chinese baby. And they would go, I want to see, we don't believe you. And I would have them pay me. They would have to pay me like quarters and dimes to see my brother, to see if he was really Chinese. And when they saw him, they would look at him and go, I don't think he is. And I would go, he is Chinese. Just look at his eyes. And where did I get that from in the 5th and 6th grade? I have no clue. But to this day, just the other day, actually, I think it was yesterday, he sent me a text message and was saying, I'm so sorry I missed your birthday on Friday and blah, blah, blah. And I told him that's okay. And he made the comment about, my Chinese brother. And so it just took me all the way back to when I used to make people give me coins or pay me just to see if my brother was Chinese or not. So crazy.
That's crazy. Exploitation of the siblings.
That's so sad.
That's
6th
crazy.
grade.
So thinking about going back in your family, what would you say is one of the most fun things you ever did growing up as a kid? What was something that you can always go back to and say, man, that was the funnest thing that ever happened to me as a kid?
You mean as a family or
as
just
a family? You as a kid, as a family, either way, something that was just like the funnest thing that you remember.
I don't know
other than selling your brothers.
I would say hilarious. The most hilarious thing I think that happened to me as a kid was my mother and father wanted to, I guess, entertain me and my sister a little bit more, or I don't know why. I don't know how they came up with this idea, but my father bought me and my sister a puppy. Now, we have never had a dog like at our house ever. We were not raised with animals. We didn't do it. And my father and my mother decided they were going to buy us a puppy. And we were in the backyard, and my father put this animal on the other side of the gate where we were. And this little thing was like, I was in 6th grade. My sister was in 4th grade. And he put this dog on the other side of the gate with us. I guess he figured, I'm gonna put him over here. They can play with him. And he started jumping on us, and we didn't know what to do with it. We jumped on top of the fence. We kicking the dog, and the dog is like yapping, and because we was like, why did you put this thing over here? Like, what do we do with this thing? We didn't know. We thought he was attacking us. We had no clue. And that's not how you present your kids with the dog. That's just not how you do it. So he did it all wrong. Poor dog. He had to leave the house. It was just a mess. So I think that was the most hilarious thing that ever happened to us as kids.
Moral of the story: don't give black kids a dog.
Without introducing them first. It was horrible, and it was more horrible for the dog. So
that is funny. That is funny.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So if you don't mind sharing, you can. If you don't want to, I'm sort of trying to get people to sort of know who you are, where you come from. What would you say is one of the most traumatic things that happened to you in your life?
Well, there are some things that I won't discuss, but I'm trying to think. Traumatic?
Something that just really hurt, maybe. Something you sort of regret. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know, like traumatic. I don't know. I don't know.
I would say putting the dog in the yard. But
I don't know about traumatic. I don't know. Like, I don't have anything that like I would like to could just share with people. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So moving back into the present. So to give some advice, looking at your younger self and the decisions you had in the past, and sort of knowing the stuff that you made now, if you were talking to, say, the younger self, maybe the 20-ish, 20 to 25-year-old self, and you're in a relationship and you're thinking about getting married, what would be like one tip that you could give to young ladies about, moving into married life? What would be maybe you can do more than one tip, maybe just a couple of tips, some things they would really need to consider before getting married?
I would say, first, look at mannerism in the young man. Ask what I didn't do. Ask a lot of questions. If he does not know how to answer your questions and don't just like try to avoid questions, that's probably a no-go.
Like what kind of question? What kind of question would
what's
you
your
ask?
vision in life? Do you have goals? Things like that. Whatever your vision. Just say, for instance, if I'm a 25-year-old and I'm in a relationship and I want to take the next step, I want to know, do you have a bank account? Like I said, what's your goal? What's your vision? Where do you want to go in life? Do you like to travel? Just ask those kind of questions, because after you get married and things like that and stuff start happening, you go, wait a minute, that, hold up, you want to, pump the brakes. Then it's like, because you never asked those questions. So it's a lot of things. Eventually you'll get to credit scores and things like that. You just have to find a way, how you ask that question to that young man. See how he treats his mother, see how he treats his sisters, just stuff like that, just basic stuff. But just make sure you ask a lot of questions. Those are things that I did not do. You just jump into the relationship because you see things like, I saw my parents, my parents have been together 52 years. And, you look at that and you try to model the same thing. And it's just like, not everybody is the same. So you have to make sure you ask questions so you know what you're getting into.
Great. That's an awesome answer. So asking questions, finding out if your vision and your spouse's vision are basically going in the same path.
Right.
So see if you have the same values,
right,
the same general ideas. What kind of advice would you give to women in general about maybe compromising or giving up on their dreams? What would you say to that? Should they give up on their dreams that are passion to be in a relationship with a man?
Well, it's kind of a hard question to answer. It just depends on what his dreams and passions are. If you feel like you can for a minute, I guess it depends on the conversation that you have. And if you say, hey, I'm willing to do this thing with you for, a year to see where we go, and let him know, I guess, up front, I'm not going to throw my passion or my dreams out. It's going to be just a temporary thing until we see where this goes. And then if this goes the way we want it to go, maybe I can pick up where I left off and then, just go from there. But
the reason I asked that question, I don't remember what it was recently, but I don't know if it was on a TV show or a conversation or something. It was a lady had a lot of resentment against her husband because she felt like she gave up on her dreams to follow him basically around the world, for lack of a better word.
Oh yeah, I think it was Lisa Ray.
And it created a lot of resentment. So the conversations that we have as married couples, especially with our wives and husbands, is being able to have the same vision and go in the right direction.
You can have the same vision, just and do two different things. I think you can have the same vision. You know where you want to go, and you can still compliment each other. You can still work with each other. You can still pat each other on the back. You can still do all those things and have the same vision, just doing two different things.
And that's what's really cool. And you made a really good point, because we both have the same vision. She runs a boutique and very creative and does t-shirts and things like that. And I have an online marketing business, and I'll help her with her business. And she gives me, input on my business, and we're both going in the same direction of achieving a goal down the road, sort of together. So it's sort of like having the pilot and the co-pilot in the plane. The plane's going to go the same direction.
Right.
Nobody, if you turn the wheel, both people are going the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
So unless one person jumps out of the plane,
right.
the plane's always going to be going in a direction. Your goal is to, take off at one spot. It's actually a pretty good analogy. Mm-hmm. Take off one spot and you're flying through the air and you're going to get to another spot. Mm-hmm. So, hey, Bobby, thanks for swinging by. I really appreciate what's going on. So, in terms of being in a long-term relationship, mm-hmm. what do you feel are some of the changes, or let me take that back. What do you see in yourself, or what thing that you recommend, or what do you see in yourself as a growth point for you that what do you see as a growth point for you that's really impacted you to move forward in life in relationships? What's a change that you feel like you've made mm-hmm. to just have better relationships with people in general?
Attitude, mindset. I read different things. I listen to different people. I try to say, I talk to myself and try to say, okay, if I'm in this situation with my husband, how would I react? Now, there are some times I can react this way, and there are some times when I can act this way. I would much rather, like, if we're in something happening where we know that whatever we say or how I respond to something can escalate and make the situation worse, I would much rather stay away from that response. So I'm learning how to think before I speak. It's hard sometimes, but I am trying to work on, thinking before I speak. Think about what I want to say before I respond. I don't want to have to throw remote controls, raise my voice, do stuff and say something that I want to take back, and you can't take it back once you say it. So just learning how to think differently, listen to different people, listen to more positive people, stay away from, the negative people. If you'll notice when you're around somebody that's always negative, you'll feel that energy on you. So you want to, I try to stay away from negative people. I try to be as positive as I possibly can. And that's basically it. I think if you change your mindset, you can change a lot of things in a relationship. So
yeah, absolutely, Bobby. Consistency is very, very important in terms of just moving forward on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. I know one of the things that I'm always into what I call self-development stuff. Mm-hmm. I've got self-development books I read. Mm-hmm. I'm a weird reader. I read like a chapter, then I'll skip a spot, then I'll listen to a video, then I read a chapter, then I'll listen to something. And one of the things I noticed that Devon has done, especially being around me, mm-hmm. is you complement each other. And the cool thing about it is we all have strengths in our relationships.
Right.
And we should be able to feed off of those strengths and provide value to one another. So you both start out in a relationship like this, and eventually you come together and you start to work it together as a team. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you might get a little out of alignment, but moreover, she was listening to John Maxwell this last week, which was very, very cool, which was surprising to me because I've never heard her do that kind of mm-hmm. stuff before. And to me, that was an up level in our relationship, mm-hmm. because in any relationship, doesn't matter if you're mom and dad, brother, sister, parents, kids, right. if you're growing, if one half of the relationship is growing and changing their mindset and the other person isn't, eventually there's going to be a separation, because that vision.
You may be together, but not
together. You may be together, but you're not together spiritually. You're not together mentally. Your positive outlook on life, especially if you got one spouse that's just super negative Nelly, and the other person's trying to be positive and grow, that's going to hurt. So the recommendations here, and this is really, really hard sometimes. This is something that I'll see this in one of in the marketing groups where and the spouse is sort of negative towards the other spouse about their home-based business. Mm-hmm. And the recommendations is go out and prove your spouse wrong. Mm-hmm. Put the example on, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to be consistent. And to you guys, it's the same thing. Is showing up. Doesn't mean you have to win every day. You just have to show up every day. Mm-hmm. You have to be consistent every day. You have to say, this is the direction I'm going. And it's just like going to the gym. It's like, mm-hmm. I want to lose 10 pounds. When I started riding my bicycle, I haven't ridden it for a year. When I got back on my bike, I started being really consistent. Mm-hmm. And it was the first day kicked my butt, and then it got better and it got better and it got better and it got better. And by the end of the time, and then somebody decided she wanted to come with me.
I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that. And I knew you was gonna bring it up. It was a setup. I don't care what you say.
It was.
It was a setup.
Anyway, this is the moral of the story is
I got sick and had to call my daddy.
If you've never ridden a bicycle before and you want to go riding with somebody that rides a bicycle, don't overdo it. That's all I'm gonna say to that. Just take baby steps.
I thought I was dying.
Yeah, she pretty much got her butt kicked on that one. Yeah. So anyway, just one of our stories. It's like, hey, babe, you want to go on a bike ride? And she just gives me the ugly look. So she's not, that's probably never going to happen again.
Not happening.
Which is sort of very, very funny. So anyway, so just having some fun, enjoying life, being part of a relationship. So moving forward, what is a wife that you can say to other wives to maybe inspire or empower their husbands? What are some maybe encouraging words or maybe some attitudes or things that you can sort of, inspire your husband to move along? How would you go about doing that?
I don't know. I guess I always say, I try to say, like, especially when you do your lives or if you're doing something and I know you're trying to reach a goal, I always say you can do it. Good job. What do you need me to do? If, I'm always trying to jump in. I know sometimes it's probably annoying, but, I always try to see if there's something I can do to help make it easier for you. So just be a partner if you can, just be a partner if you can.
One of the things that, and she did say that, and we're talking about supporting spouses, even if you're not in the other person's business and what she does, she'll constantly be on my lives, doing shout outs, saying thank you, doing appreciations. She's on there, just like somebody else that jumps on a live supporting that. So the support and the encouragement is a very, 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 very big deal. So if you feel like your relationship is going apart, this is the coolest thing in the world. This is some relationship kung fu is, go give your spouse a hug and tell them you appreciate them for all the effort that they're putting into their business. If you haven't done that yet, I'm telling you that will empower them, that will make them feel so great, that will push them to the next level. They'll level up more than you could possibly imagine because people love to be encouraged. They love to be recognized.
When your boss tells you, great job. It's the same thing.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
When your boss walks by your office and says, I really appreciate everything you do, and they very seldom ever talk to you, go,
right.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So it's the uplifting things that you can do in a relationship, guys. And this is me speaking to the ladies, is although we all try to be bulletproof and we have a lot of kinks in our armor. We get our butts kicked. We are our own worst enemies. When we fail, we beat ourselves up more than anybody else could possibly ever imagine, especially if you're a driven personality. And I know when I lose at something, I really have to sit down and just really not go into like a depressive state of not being depressed or not being sad or not beating myself up to the point. It's like, I got to get over it really, really quick and move on, because the dreams of my business and impacting lives is going to make our relationship better. So for the husbands, I know this is, what wives want. What a wife wants, from my perspective, is somebody that's going to support her, somebody's going to uplift her, somebody's going to be a champion for her, somebody that's going to be out front, somebody's going to take the lead and not be in a controlling kind of situation where you can let her be vulnerable and you can let her take the lead sometimes, and you guys can work back and forth. As a team. Sometimes she needs to take the lead to feel empowered, to feel like she's going somewhere. And it's not a condescending type kind of lead. It's like, take the ball and run with it. You're going to be the quarterback. You're going to throw her the pass and she's going to take it in for the touchdown. And sometimes it's necessary in a relationship for you both to go in that direction. It's like you sort of got to push the other person out of the nest, for lack of a better word, say, you got this, you can do it. And they go out and they take the lead.
Remember, I didn't want to get on. I didn't want to get on camera. Like, he'd be like, well, you need to do. I'm like, no, I am not doing a live. Like, I'm okay. I'm good. I don't need to be on there, blah, blah, blah. So finally, I just like, okay, I'll do one. And then now I'm like, hey, everybody, it's me. Hey, everybody. Because I like doing them now. And that I'm not like nervous and scared like I used to be.
And the value that comes out of that is people need to see people
Mm-hmm.
that are like them. People need to realize that they're not in a unique bubble.
Yep.
That there's ish that comes out there. Now, some people, I'll tell everybody my backstory because I think it's important to make an impact. Like I tell the story about the empty refrigerators when I was growing up as
Mm-hmm.
a kid, you know, and being able to tell those types of stories. And you know, it's very important because people need to see that transition of, okay, this is a, you know, from her perspective, you know, she grew up in a family with a mom and a dad and a family. I grew up in a completely opposite deal,
Mm-hmm.
to a single mom, no dad, completely different relationship type kind of model. So the cool thing about it is her parents have basically adopted me. I think her mom fell in love with me before
Mm-hmm.
she did.
Should have, probably so.
But the funny thing about it is it's like family. So there's always something there that the people that get put in your lives, and some people are there for a season, some
Mm-hmm.
people are there for a lifetime, and it's you need to realize how to grow out of that. So my shout out is to all the wives who support your husbands. Awesome job. For all the husbands that support your wives,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely awesome job. And so one just sort of closing moment. What do you think is one of the most important things that a wife can do in a marriage for the marriage?
Oh my God, one of the most important things that a wife could do in a marriage for the marriage.
I just totally, this is unscripted, y'all. This is totally off the top.
So, get a job. No, I'm just playing.
Learn how to cook.
I don't know. I don't know. Just do stuff together. I mean, I don't know. For example, if he's outside cutting the grass, I shouldn't be in here, like, you know, doing my nails and watching Housewives. I should be out there, you know, at least raking the grass or talking to him while he's cutting the grass if you don't know how to do anything else, and helping him bag the leaves. Or, you know, if he's doing something or if you're doing something, it's a great feeling when that person comes in and starts to help you. And if they don't know how to do what you're doing, at least they are there talking to you while you're doing what you're doing. So that's the only thing I can think of right now.
That's a really good point. I'm gonna put that on top of this. You made a really good point. Some women aren't, and this is people, I'll just say in general, because I'm a handyman to the max.
And there are men that are not.
There's men that are not.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, some guys, I mean, I talked to some guys. I was telling one guy we used to work with, and it's like talking about how to rewire a light plug, and he was like, what? He's like, no, you know, so there's not every man is exactly the same. Not every woman is exactly the same. Where she jumps in,
Mm-hmm.
will come out and help with the yard work. You know, if you have a wife that would rather just sit on the porch and do her nails, she's supporting you.
Because she's out there with you.
You know, maybe she can bring you a glass of iced tea, or whatever the case is. You need to understand your strengths in your spouse and where they're coming from and how they can support you. So always support them at some level, wherever you can pitch in, whatever you can do, even if it's just a verbal support, even if it's just, hey, I really appreciate you cutting the grass and doing all that hard work. And, you know, if whatever you can do to support them on the backside. Same thing for husbands supporting your wives.
Right.
If you're not really good at something, you can still show up and help. You know, I've been down at her boutique helping her put up shelves and put in stuff and move furniture around and do all that kind of stuff, because I want to help her vision move forward. So when somebody walks in, they go, wow, this place is very, very cool. So
and they do.
It's something that you guys can work together with each other's strengths. So that's all I've got. Really appreciate my wife jumping on here, totally unscripted, as we call Unscripted Thursdays. And I got to figure out how to get this software on so I can bring somebody on from another camera. So we'll figure that part out. So anyway, I am Forrest. This is Devon. I love you.
Jesus loves you.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. No more empty refrigerators. Peace out. Go out and make an extreme impact. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all. I was going to see how long you're going to do that.